Hello! So much has happened this year in pop culture, from celebrity drama to breakout stars to social media trends to politics, so I thought it would be fun to do a video breaking down the top pop culture moments of 2024 and rating them. I'm going to include moments from GQ, Dazed, ExpressVPN, and some of my own. There are 45 things on this list, and I'm going to explain them to the best of my abilities. Then we're going to rate them. So here are my ratings for the moments. First we have, I don't know what this is. This one's pretty self-explanatory. I've never heard of this before. Lukewarm, it happened. This one is just like things that happened that I don't really think made big waves in pop culture. The next is a lot, maybe too much. This is also the why do we care category. I think this is for stuff that captured the public's interest but was mostly toxic and unnecessary for us to focus on. The next is it's funny but not a moment. Just something funny and silly that happened that's fun to meme about, but not necessarily something that's going to have a lasting impact. Here for the drama. This one's when something is toxic but we kind of love it and we love to talk about it because it's dramatic and it's fun. Gossip, intrigue, rumors, and fun, we love it. This one's just like it's great and we love it. Fun, silly, cute, no downsides. And then finally we have iconic. I want this to be a safe space for us to share our pop culture opinions and agreements and disagreements, so please be kind in the comments. Thank you. So our first pop culture moment is Saltburn. Although this movie actually was released in 2023, it didn't really gain traction until this year. It really launched Barry Keoghan into stardom, and it continued the stardom of Jacob Elordi. The movie starred Barry Keoghan as a college student who lies and manipulates his way into this rich family with Jacob Elordi as one of the family members. Barry Keoghan's character also has a big obsession with another character, Film, and we see him drink bathwater of this other character, and this moment in the film went extremely viral at the beginning of this year. Although the film was released on Amazon Prime in December 22nd of 2023, it quadrupled in viewership 2 weeks after its launch. The success of the film is credited to viral marketing and word of mouth, particularly on TikTok. Everyone heard about their bath scene even if you didn't watch the movie. I'm gonna put this under a lot, maybe too much. I do love Saltburn as a movie, but some of the elements in the film, obviously because it's like a thriller, are kind of disturbing. Next we have the Golden Globes, which happened on January 7th of 2024. Most of the discourse around the Golden Globes this year was centered around Joe Coy and his opening monologue and jokes about Barbie.
Oppenheimer is based on a 721-page Pulitzer Prize-winning book about the Manhattan Project. And Barbie is on a plastic doll with big boobies.
And many of the audience reactions would go viral. But there were some positive moments that came out of the Golden Globes, like Lily Gladstone became the first Indigenous winner of Best Actress in the drama Killers of the Flower Moon, and she gave a very powerful speech.
Every little res kid, every little urban kid, every little native kid out there who has a dream, who is seeing themselves represented and our stories told by ourselves in our own words, with tremendous allies and tremendous trust.
I was also excited to see that The Boy and the Heron won Best Animated Film. I'm gonna put Joe Coy's comic misfire at the Golden Globes as lukewarm, because like, at the end of the day, it doesn't matter. I mean, I forgot about this until I read this article, so it didn't really stick with me in my mind. The Lily Gladstone win, I'm gonna put that in iconic. Then we have Gypsy Rose Blanchard. Now this is a really complex one, but I decided to put it in January because it kind of started in January, even though it's basically gone throughout the entire year. But in case you don't know, Gypsy Rose Blanchard is a very famous Munchausen by proxy victim, and she was in a famous true crime case where she and her boyfriend at the time would murder her mother. This has been made in documentaries and dramatization series over the years, like The Act. But at the end of 2023, Gypsy Rose was actually finished serving her prison sentence and was released, and soon after she would become a TikTok kind of star because everyone was super interested in her, and her life and her like relationships and stuff became big gossip tabloid news. Like, I haven't seeked out any information about Gypsy Rose Blanchard, but just through like being on social media and watching videos and listening to podcasts, I've just absorbed through social media osmosis so much about her life. Like, I know about how she met this guy named Ryan while she was in prison. They got married. They were together for a while and she was defending him on social media, but then she started dating this new guy, Ken, and she divorced her husband. And then now she's pregnant with Ken's child. And there was times where they'd all go on TikTok Live and like talk about each other and expose parts of their relationship. And Lifetime would even release a show called Gypsy Rose Life After Lockup, released in June. But she's just been in the public eye, in public discourse a lot this year. And the conversation around her has definitely been very weird to see because people are treating her like a normal social media influencer and not someone who became famous through extremely tragic set of events. And it's just really sad that how people are reacting to it and how much people are paying attention to her life when really all she's famous for is committing a crime and being a victim of another crime. Especially because I've seen the narrative around Gypsy like shift a lot of her not just being a victim, but her being a master manipulator and like in on the situation with her mom. I just think this is all wrong to talk. This is definitely a lot, maybe too much, and why do we care? Because I think people just need to like stop focusing on her and then we'll stop hearing about her. And I wish like even people on social media and YouTube who I like and enjoy their content have been talking about her a lot, and I really just don't think we need to. There's so many other cooler things to focus on. Sorry for my little Gypsy Rose rant, but this has been on my mind for a while. Then we also have Taylor Swift versus AI, a digital dilemma. In January, explicit AI-generated images of Taylor Swift circulated online, particularly on Twitter/X, and even the White House would step in to condemn the misuse of AI, and they would talk about creating stricter regulations. They say the incident highlighted both the dangers of unregulated AI technology and the vulnerabilities of high-profile figures in the digital age. I think this is all true, but I think this is also a larger issue than just celebrities and people with lots of photographs of them out there. There's a lot of cases of AI images being made on normal women in society. I definitely think like AI content of women needs to be regulated more and talked about, but I would put this moment in a lot, maybe too much, because although it's an important conversation, I wish it wasn't something we had to talk about, but obviously it will be in the coming years. And obviously Taylor Swift being a target for this was talked about a lot just because of the public admiration for Taylor Swift and wanting to protect her, but this is something that could happen to literally anyone with AI tools, and I think it's probably important for a celebrity to spearhead the legislative changes. So the next pop culture moment centers around Jeremy Allen White, the star of the Hulu show The Bear. Both him and his co-star Ayo Edebiri have been very much in the public eye and in the public zeitgeist this year. This one in particular, GQ lists sexy Jeremy Allen White as one of the top moments of the year, basically him doing a Calvin Klein photo shoot. I kind of thought this was whatever, but I decided to combine this with Rat Boy Summer because that's kind of a more fun social media moment. And Rat Boy Summer, or I guess what Dazed calls Hot Rodent Boyfriend, Josh O'Connor and Mike Feist, who are the stars of Challengers, which we'll talk about later, this year also saw the rise of the hot rodent boyfriend, a term coined by Dazed, will have you know. Oh, I see. They're just promoting their own article. As you know, the Challenger boys, we also cited the likes of Kieran Culkin, Tom Hiddleston, Jeremy Allen White, Maddie Healy as prime examples of hot, ratty men. Suddenly, sharp little faces and a scurrying charm became all the rage, spawning a whole bunch of viral articles and memes and discourse and so much discourse. This one I put under it's funny but not a moment. It's funny to talk about and make memes about, but like, these are all already famous men, so it's obvious that people are attracted to them. I guess it's kind of like the same situation as like ugly hot. It's just saying people unconventionally attractive who you find attractive, but calling them rodents is a little crazy. Like, at what point do we just need to say that this is just how white men look? And it's okay that you guys are attracted to them. You don't need to call them rats. The next pop culture moment is Who the F Did I Marry? This was a viral TikTok series by the TikTok user Risatisa, that was posted in February of this year, where she details her life and relationship being with this man who's a pathological liar, who she ended up getting married to, and all of the lies and deception that he engaged in during their relationship. This was just a basic story time with her talking to the camera while she's driving and things like that, but it became such a captivating story for so many people. The series has millions of views on TikTok, and many people have talked about it and covered this story outside of her TikTok. And because of the nature of social media, people from his past and even him responded on social media, and lots of things happened. A television adaptation of her story is being made with Natasha Rothwell to play her. I'm going to put this in iconic just because I feel like at the beginning of the year it really did capture so many people's attention, and so many people were waiting on every word of hers to figure out what's next in the story. What's she going to say in the next part? How much crazier could this story be? Okay, next we have the Willy Wonka chocolate experience. So this was a event put on in Glasgow, a non-sanctioned Charlie and the Chocolate Factory tribute event, which would include actors in character being in the Charlie and the Chocolate Factory universe, but they would also make up other characters, like the villain was the Unknown. What is this, Over the Garden Wall? But its disastrous reality led to so many memes of how bad and AI the set looked. This also kind of started the trend of like people exposing failed events on TikTok. I feel like we've had quite a few of these throughout the year, but this one was the one that people really memed about, especially with the really viral picture of that Oompa Loompa worker. I'm gonna put this in here for the drama because I thought it was fun when people were talking about it. Obviously, it sucks that people got scammed, and like, I hope the creator of the event doesn't try to make any more. Next, we have Javier Bardem saying Lisan Al Gaib / the Dune popcorn bucket. This was I don't know what this is. GQ says Dune 2 was a serious film, free of Marvel-style gags, and all the better for that. But outside of the frame of the movie itself, there was a lot of meme action going on. Javier Bardem as Stilgar and Freeman, whose religious devotion to Paul Atreides knows no bounds, spawning a sublime reaction image. Timothée Chalamet drinking a beer. Lisbon Al Gab. Timmy correctly predicting the winner of a basketball match. Lisbon Al Gab. And then there was how the film's promotion sandworm-style popcorn bucket looked a lot like a sex toy, which gave us a genuinely funny Saturday Night Live sketch. Okay, so I did watch the sketch. I was shocked, but I understood. Also, Aowa Debris was in that sketch, so she did have a big ear. I don't know why they made the popcorn bucket like that. I'm shocked that you actually had to stick your hand through it to get to the popcorn. But I haven't seen Dune, so I don't understand this meme. But I hope you guys are having fun out there. But this leads into one of ExpressVPN's moments. Dune Part 2 dominates at the box office. Dune Part 2 sweeps into theaters, immediately staked its claim as 2024's sci-fi juggernaut. With outstanding visuals and action and Timothée Chalamet and Zendaya's electric performances, Denis Villeneuve's epic sequel succeeds expectations. Fans pack theaters for repeat viewings, propelling the film to over $714.4 million USD in global box office revenue. I put this in lukewarm it happened just because to me Dune 2 happened and it came out and people watched it, but I don't know anything about it. I've never seen it. But this kind of did inspire me to want to watch the movie. Okay, next we have Beyonce and Cowboy Carter. So Beyonce came out with her country album Cowboy Carter at the beginning of this year. The album had great reception and universal acclaim. It also began a conversation about country music through the lens of Black artists and how they've been pushed out of country music spaces. The album also had Texas Hold'em, which is one of the biggest singles of the year. I put this in iconic just because it's really cool to see what Beyonce's doing and how she's still surprising people and changing the game with her 8th studio album. Next we have Nara Smith's Family Empire. I was actually kind of surprised when I saw this on Dazed's article because I thought the Tradwife Nara Smith stuff was mainly discourse that happened last year, but I didn't realize how Nara Smith went from having like 2 million followers at the beginning of this year to now having over 11 million followers. So if you don't know, Nara Smith is a TikTok creator who basically makes like cooking content. She always speaks in a really soft voice, like whispering into the mic, and she's always making things from scratch. She also wears like extravagant outfits. Her main thing is like making foods and things for her husband and kids. kids, and she's 23 and has 3 children. Her and other TikTok creators like her who have been pushing this trad wife type of content have been talked about a lot this year about like what it means and is it feminist and is it empowering, or all of the discourse around that. It's a very complex topic, but it's definitely something interesting to hear about. I'm gonna put this in a lot, maybe too much, just because I find the discourse around this kind of annoying, but also it's interesting. I don't know, maybe it's here for the drama. Next we have the Kate Middleton conspiracies. So Kate Middleton, a member of the royal family, was absent from the public eye for a couple months, which led to a lot of conspiracies around what happened to her. Lots of people theorized about her and her husband breaking up and getting divorced. There's been a lot of rumors about him cheating and things like that. So there was already some talk, but then when an image of Kate was published on Mother's Day, it created a big social media storm and conspiracy because people believed that the image was photoshopped and it was actually a reused picture. All of the rumors that this picture was photoshopped led to an even darker conspiracy, like the royal family's trying to get rid of her or kill her or something. And it did end up having a sad but kind of predictable conclusion where Kate came out on social media and announced that she was diagnosed with cancer and was undergoing cancer treatment, and that was her reason for being absent from the public eye. Just kind of the whole situation made me kind of sad that they were bullying her into admitting that she had cancer to the public, I guess. It was a lot. Definitely a lot, maybe too much. Next we have Baby Reindeer sparking real-life drama. The TV adaptation of Richard Gadd's autobiographical play, Baby Reindeer, became a critical success. The series follows Gadd as he becomes a target of an obsessive admirer after seemingly harmless act of kindness, leading to a harrowing experience of harassment. However, the show has led Gadd's real-life stalker to sue Netflix for $70 million USD for defamation, emotional distress, and other claims. This story definitely led to an interesting situation of art imitating life and life imitating art and everything coming full circle. I'm gonna put this also under a lot, maybe too much, because I did watch Baby Reindeer and I thought it was a decent show, but I did find it very disturbing. Obviously it's supposed to be, it's kind of like a thriller, kind of psychological show, but it was a lot to see. Also, I don't know if it portrayed Richard himself in a great light, but I do wonder what the resolution of this lawsuit will be, coming out and saying that she's offended by the portrayal, but it's also a true portrayal. It's so complex because she's kind of outing herself as the stalker, but could she still win the case if they didn't properly clear everything legally? But I'm under the impression that Netflix would cover all of its bases before releasing a show like this. Next we have Challengers. So Challengers was a big movie that came out earlier this year starring Zendaya, Mike Feist, and Josh O'Connor, about the 3 of them being embroiled in this kind of love triangle tennis rivalry competition situation. And the movie became very viral because of its trailer. Also, I feel like Zendaya is a very big actress right now, so people were very interested to see her in a role like this. I like Challengers. I thought it was a really thought-provoking and interesting movie. I'm gonna put it under we love it. Next, we have Karma, Jojo Siwa's song. So Jojo Siwa has been going through a rebrand this year. She was kind of previously seen as like a child star during Dance Moms and her time on Nickelodeon. She was known for wearing her bows and being very girly. A couple years ago, she did come out as gay, and then since I guess she's trying to rebrand a bit and be more mature, she's hoping to have like her musical transition out of, I guess, childhood and into being like an adult performer. So she's been releasing some edgy songs. The one that she really tried to jumpstart her career with was Karma, but it just became a big meme kind of because she was saying all this stuff like she was creating a new genre like gay pop, and people are like, what do you mean? There's so many other gay pop artists besides you. But I think she kind of reveled in all of the attention, good and bad. I think that's an interesting part about Jojo Siwa, and weirdly enough, I went from hating Karma to kind of thinking it's a good song, and sometimes it gets stuck in my head. I'm sure if you're on the internet a lot, you know about it, and you know about like the Karma's a bitch, I should have known better, especially on TikTok. I'm not really a Jojo Siwa fan, but I'm interested to see where Jojo goes, so I'm gonna put this in It's Funny But Not a Moment. Now we have Looking for a Man in Finance. So a TikTok creator, Megan Bonney, made this video basically making like a parody song saying,
I'm looking for a man in finance, trust fund, 6'5", blue eyes, finance, trust fund, 6'5".
And it started a really fun trend on TikTok, so I'm gonna put this under We love it. Okay, the Drake-Kendrick beef. The biggest rap beef in years played out primarily via red-hot diss tracks, with Kendrick taking the crown. But it also left a big mark on the internet. There were endless memes, including those condemning J. Cole for swiftly apologizing for his own Lamar diss and avoiding the carnage that followed. Then, when Lamar was announced as next year's Super Bowl headliner, it all kicked off again. So the Drake and Kendrick beef, this led to both of them making like 5 songs about each other, responding back and forth to the allegations and rumors that they're talking about. Like Kendrick revealed in a song that Drake allegedly has a secret child, and he's also a sexual predator, which led to a lot of memes, but it's a little sad and dark in my opinion. I feel like I want to put this in here for the drama, but I feel like they've crossed a lot of lines, like talking about kids and stuff. It's just kind of airing out all this stuff for the public. I mean, I guess it's a good story to follow, but it seems kind of sad to me. Like, Kendrick accused Drake and his team of being, you know, predators of underage people, and like, is that going to actually lead to anything, or is that just like an allegation they threw out to like have shock value? I guess is what I'm worried about. Kendrick's final song on the beef, Not Like Us, is very catchy and has been one of the top songs of the year. I did follow the feud when it first started, but I kind of stopped paying attention when it got too complex about these different people who had Drake's belongings and like stole stuff from him and all this stuff, and I was like, I don't know what I'm watching and I don't understand. The lore is too deep here, because I know a lot of other rappers and stuff are involved. I'm gonna step back from this one. So I would put this in a lot, maybe too much. Okay, next we have Civil War's marketing backlash. The release of Civil War, a gritty dystopian film exploring America's descent into chaos, came with a marketing strategy as controversial as its subject matter. The studio leaned on AI-generated content to promote the film on social media. Fans and industry insiders were quick to cry foul, accused the studio of cutting corners and undermining human creatives, especially after the SAG-AFTRA and Writers Guild of America strikes in 2023. While the movie earned praise for its performance and themes, its reliance on AI left a sour taste for many. I put this under I don't know what this is because I didn't know this movie existed, but obviously AI and use of AI in films is a big discussion this year, and is probably going to be a big discussion in the coming years, which I'm not really looking forward to, but you know, it has to happen. There has to be more regulations so creatives can get paid. Elon Musk went off the deep end. Days says Elon Musk has been taking up way too much space in all our lives. It was bad enough when he bought X, formerly Twitter, turning it into an arena for bot farms with all the worst opinions, but then he joined Donald Trump's campaign trail trying to make dark MAGA a thing, and spent more than $250 million to help Trump win the election, controversially vowing to give $1 million away a day to someone who signs America's PAC petition. Now Musk has been tasked with leading incoming President Donald Trump's new Department of Government Efficiency, DOGE. Yes, really. It is sad how much of an effect he had on the election. I'm gonna put this in a lot, maybe too much, because I just don't really want to talk about it. I know Elon's gonna be such a memed about person. He's like one of those billionaires who's in the public eye the most. Because we see him so much, it's easy to form a lot of opinions about him, but there are like so many other billionaires behind the scenes, and it just makes me kind of grossed. I'm grossed out by everything happening. This is gonna ruin the tour. So in June, Justin Timberlake was pulled over for drink driving. In June, Justin Timberlake was pulled over for drunk driving and muttered under his breath, "This is going to ruin the tour," and the officer said, "What tour?" and he said, "The world tour." This moment went very viral and people made a lot of memes about it. Now when like any inconvenience happens, I feel like people like to say like, "This is going to ruin the tour." This is a bit of a, it's funny but not a moment for me. I don't think people are going to be talking about this for a long time. Okay, Brat Summer. So Brat Summer, it started with Charli XCX releasing her new album Brat. It became a bit of a movement. This album is hyperpop, club-influenced music, and led to a lot of viral moments and Charli XCX getting recognition in her career. She's been working in music a long time, but never has gotten like huge, widespread attention. Besides like Boom Clap, but like besides that, I feel like she's gone under the radar even though she's been releasing music for years. Brat was the first time I really saw her come up in the public eye again, kind of after she was in Barbie last year. I actually really liked Brat. It's probably one of my top albums this year. It's definitely fun and unique and interesting. And even though you'd think the lyrics are like not that deep because it's like hyperpop music, there's actually a lot to dive into in lyrics. I'm such a lyric person. And I feel like even if you don't listen to Charlie's music, Brat was like more of a movement. It's like a style. It's just like Hot Girl Summer or Christian Girl Autumn. It's just like something that people say and then they kind of like try to tailor their lives after a summer of being indulgent and confident like Charlie would be. And this color green that's on the cover of Brat, I feel like we've seen more this year than I've ever seen in my life. So for that, I'm gonna say it's iconic, because even if you don't listen to Charlie's music, you've just like seen the green, you've seen the apple dance, you've heard it, you know? She also had crazy moments releasing a remix version of her album with all these really huge artists like Ariana Grande and the 1975 and Billie Eilish and Lorde. And it was just so cool to see all these artists come together to celebrate and support Charlie. So yeah, definitely an iconic moment. Okay, next we have Bennifer. So this is the relationship between Jennifer Lopez and Ben Affleck. So the couple was together in 2002 to 2004 and were engaged to be married before their breakup. They would rekindle their romance in early 2021 and got married in 2022, but it seems like that rekindled romance is over, because in August of 2024, Lopez filed for divorce from Affleck on their second wedding anniversary. So they've been talked about a lot this year because there was some speculation that maybe they were going to get divorced, which did end up happening. I know Jennifer Lopez has also been in the media a lot for her new tour that ended up getting canceled. I've seen a big shift in people kind of turning on Jennifer Lopez and calling her like a mean girl and like out of touch and all that. I don't really know that much about her or her relationship with Ben Affleck. They seem like a weird couple, but maybe I don't know their history. I didn't know that they used to date. I think I've heard about them before, but I put this in like lukewarm because I kind of have heard some stuff about it throughout the year, but nothing's really caught my attention or seemed super interesting. I don't really know why people are being so invasive about their personal life, but I mean, I guess it's the same thing with the Kate Middleton story or the Gypsy Rose story or like all of that. People are just really attached and invested to certain people and wanting to know about their romantic life. Next, we have how Inside Out 2 brought the feels. Pixar's Inside Out 2 proved that revisiting your emotions is always a good idea. The long-awaited sequel returned to Riley's world, navigating adolescence, chaos, and introducing new characters and emotions. The movie struck gold at the box office with heartfelt storytelling and relatable moments, raking in $1.7 billion USD worldwide. Fans praised its relatable themes and clever humor, making it the highest-grossing animated film of all time. I was actually surprised to see this. I just watched Inside Out 2 for the first time a couple of weeks ago, and I really enjoyed it. I had no idea it was the highest grossing animated film of all time now. I feel like it might be because of inflation though, because I just don't understand how it could have passed like Frozen and Moana and stuff. Inside Out is a big franchise for them, but I was really surprised about how well it's doing. I really liked Inside Out 2 though. I have a little bit of mixed feelings about it because I felt like some of the rules that they established in the Inside Out universe in the first film were kind of broken, and that kind of bothers me. And I think they had a good opportunity in the film to discuss how different emotions work together with anxiety, and they could have increased like what sadness and anxiety's relationship is like, or anxiety and fear. But I'm gonna put this in lukewarm. It happened just because the movie came out and it was released and it was great, but I didn't really hear anything about it. The main time I feel like I really heard the whole internet discussing Inside Out 2 was when the trailer first came out and some of the new emotions were seen for the first time. Now we're going into June. First, we're gonna start with Dua Lipa meets an enthusiastic busker. When Dua Lipa was booked to headline Glastonbury this year, she probably didn't imagine she'd spend part of her weekend smiling awkwardly at a busker who'd written a song about her. But this is what happened when a certain Liam C. interrupted her on a worthy farm field. Her reaction, a half grimace, half smile that met the bare minimum of politeness, immediately recognized by the internet as what we all, especially women, do in social etiquette rules out turning on your heels and walking away.
Nice, so my phone don't ring, yeah. Alright, now she's acting all extra, yeah.
I love it, mate. It's so good.
No. Can I get a hug?
So good, so good.
Nice to meet you.
Yeah, of course. Nice to meet you.
I believe I saw this video, but I didn't really think anything of it because I feel like there's a lot of videos on the internet like this where people are awkwardly singing to celebrities. I know this is a trend and there's some people in particular that always go up to different singers and like sing to them. So I put this in lukewarm. It happened just because I'm surprised that they put this on the moments list. I didn't think this was a huge, big internet moment that a lot of people were talking about. Next we have Ed Darby's election campaign. This is one I didn't know about, but it says, it may seem like forever ago, but the UK had a general election this year which saw the predictable landslide win for Labor, yet it was Ed Davey's campaign antics which stole the show. Some highlights include braving a water obstacle course, bungee jumping from a crane, and launching his manifesto at Throp Park, and it seems to have paid off, with the Lib Dems bagging a historical number of seats. And then they included a clip of him bungee jumping. I'd never seen this before, but I guess this is a British politics thing. Okay, next we have Kamala is Brat. For a heady couple of months, it seemed like Kamala Harris's meme potential would rocket her to the White House. There was a hysterical laugh, her extremely quotable, "You think you just fell out of a coconut tree?"
You think you just fell out of a coconut tree? You exist in the context of all in which you live and what came before you.
And
that we are guided by what we see that can be, unburdened by what has been.
And then on the 21st of July, Charlie XCX issued a 3-word tweet. Kamala is Brat. An unstoppable cultural phenomenon crashed into the center of the American presidential election. And suddenly your mom, no, your grandmother, was asking you what Brat was. So this is a very complex one, but I would say I would put this in lukewarm it happened, just because I was one of the people that I feel like was trying to really meme it up for Kamala to win, doing all of her coconut tree and Kamala's Brat and all that, and making jokes about it. But like, I don't know, she lost, so it happened. But no one's gonna be calling Kamala Brat anymore. Next we have Keir Starmer's cagoule. This is when I realized that this is GQ UK, because I didn't understand any of those words. But they say it's all too appropriate that the depressing world of UK politics found most of its meme potential in the rain this year. First was Rishi Sunak announcing the general election in the downpour outside Downing Street. No aide thought to hold an umbrella over him, so he ended up looking like a drowned rat. In this regard, if nothing else, Keir Starmer has been an improvement. At the opening ceremony of the Paris Olympics, when all of the other dignitaries and world leaders were in flimsy plastic ponchos, Starmer rocked a Team GB cagoule dadcore style. I tried to search more about this, but basically the only thing I could find was GQ's own article that says Keir Starmer. I literally can't see the title because of this ad. Keir Starmer's unlikely Olympic dadcore moment. Next we have the Paris Olympics, which was one of the biggest events of the year. The Olympics, of course, is always a very talked about event of the year, when the world comes together to watch these athletes and make memes about them and all that. One of them being the Turkish sharpshooter who wore little gear, or another one like Ray Gunn, the Australian breakdancer who had unusual dancing, and many more little moments. The Olympics was definitely fun this year. I'm gonna put this in We Love It, because the Olympics is great. It's nice to see the world come together, and I feel like we always get some great memes and moments out of the Olympics. And most of the ones I saw this year were like pretty positive, I'd say. So I think that was nice to see. So in August, we have the It Ends With Us drama. So the Colleen Hoover bestseller It Ends With Us was being made into a movie adaptation starring Blake Lively and Justin Baldoni. Justin Baldoni was directing and also acting in the movie, but while promoting the movie, fans started to notice that something was off about what was happening and speculated a lot on behind-the-scenes drama. This led to a lot of people uncovering Blake's past and questioning her motives because she was promoting the movie in an unsensitive way. There was also past interview clips of her where she started getting mean girl allegations.
First of all, congrats on your little bump.
Congrats on your little bump.
And then people were like pointing at her other past co-stars, starting to question her, like, why didn't her and Leighton Meester get along? Maybe Blake's always been this way. I thought this would be just a short little like internet topic, but then people would mostly move on, like the press tour of Don't Worry Darling. This one also had lots of conflicting narratives about Blake and Justin and if they got along on set, or if there was some behind the scenes drama, like there was rumors that she had her own edit made of the film and things like that. She was also promoting her alcohol line and her hair care line along with the movie, and the movie's like a more serious topic, so people were kind of surprised at her marketing choices. Also, people were kind of like getting a little Ryan Reynolds fatigue, I guess, and people on like film Twitter are kind of mad at him. He also did this really awkward interview with Blake Lively's co-star in It Ends With Us that I thought was the most awkward interview of all time.
How do you explain that? Is that genetics? You have some sort of like low angle squat routine to pop that region in that way? I mean, what's going on here, man? Are you smuggling pumpkins? Got a couple of small pumpkins there? Jesus Christ, my heart is beating like crazy right now. This reminds me of when I went on that meth journey, confront my inner child, and
I was on a meth journey. I think you mean like ayahuasca, like South American plant known for its medicinal benefits. Definitely not meth. You should not be doing a meth journey.
I've been on a meth journey for about 6 months now.
So the whole situation was pretty interesting, so I put that in here for the drama. But actually, just a couple days ago, it was announced that Blake Lively is taking legal action against Justin Baldoni in his studio. And it seems like outside of just like drama, there was actually unsafe and unregulated working conditions on the set and inappropriate behavior and like a lot of different questionable activity. Especially there's correspondence between Justin Baldoni's PR team where they're kind of talking about and planning to sway the public opinion away from Blake. So then when or if her behind the scenes grievances became public, then the public would side with Justin Baldoni rather than her. And that's like basically exactly what happened. This is such a really interesting topic, and I think I would love to make a video about it next year. So let me know if you'd want to see that. But I'm kind of sad that the situation is more serious than we thought. Next we have MILF Films. So Dazed writes, I don't know what is in the water this year, but there were a lot of films released about age gap relationships, The Idea of You, A Family Affair, Baby Girl, Lonely Planet, I Want Your Sex, and more. All jokes aside, it was great to see films that challenge beliefs around aging and desire. So I hadn't seen any of these films listed, but I believe The Idea of You is the Anne Hathaway one where she's like dating a pop star or whatever. I like this trend, and I like this article they wrote about a new era of MILF visibility in films, but I do kind of have problems, I feel like, with how it's worded, mainly just because I wanted to learn more about this topic, and I googled MILF films and everything that came up was porn. I don't know, which is like obvious, but I was like, oh, I was like, MILF films, new era 2024, age gap relationships in film, Dazed article, and then like I found the right thing. But I was just like, it's kind of weird because I understand what they're saying about in this article about celebrating different ages and body types in film and all of that. But I don't know. I feel like I want to call this something else instead of MILF films. But I'm going to put this under, I don't know what this is because I didn't know about it until I was searching up articles. Next we have Sabrina is Short and Sweet. So for most of this summer, Sabrina was ruling the charts with her songs Espresso and Please Please Please, and would have a great album release of Short and Sweet. Definitely one of my favorite albums of the year, and it's been really exciting to see Sabrina's skyrocket to fame and how successful she's been this year. I was even thinking about making a Sabrina Carpenter's the It Girl of 2024 video. I don't know if I will, but that was one of my ideas. So I would definitely put this under We Love It. Like, was it worth it to spend $144 to sit sort of behind the stage at her Sabrina Carpenter concert? Yeah, it was, I guess. I wanted to. She really had a moment this year and I wanted to be a part of it. I was loving Sabrina Carpenter's new releases. Espresso's my top song of the year, so I would be remiss if I didn't include this. Next we have The Lesbian Renaissance. Days says the Lesbian Renaissance was in full swing in 2020, with queer girl representation flourishing across music, film, and culture, from Chappell Roan cementing her place as a pop sensation to Billie Eilish releasing a song about eating a girl out, to BBC's hugely popular reality dating show I Kissed a Girl. There's been a palatable culture shift offering richer, more diverse portrayal of sapphic life than ever before. This is iconic for me. One of my favorite parts of this year has been listening to art made by lesbians. So the Lesbian Renaissance was very great for culture. It's so funny. I want to know more about this because this was actually the first time I've heard it phrased like this. And if you search Lesbian Renaissance, Cosmopolitan says, please, I beg you, stop calling it a lesbian renaissance. But yes, definitely iconic. Next we have very demure, very mindful. This was a TikTok buzzword that was coined by Jules LeBron, a TikTok creator who went very viral for her version of this TikTok, and it was remade so many times. And the word demure quickly became a trending word. Every brand on their social medias tried to get in, saying very demure, very mindful about different things. products and all that. It definitely took the internet by storm for a couple weeks. I'm gonna put this under iconic. Next, we have some events that happened in September, one of them being the Oasis reunion. GQ writes, it finally happened. Noel and Liam have kissed and made up and are setting sail on a huge Oasis stadium tour next year. Though they haven't played a single show yet, the announcement was enough to send many into rhapsodies about reenacting the Britpoppy 1990s. As one Twitter user put it, it'll be the Eras tour with added sambas. CP company in more bags than a Tesco. For all of the dads up and down the country, 2025 cannot come soon enough. And for all of their sons, there's a mod haircut to adopt. This is definitely an I don't know what this is for me. I don't really know Oasis. I think I'm like familiar with them, but I've never really like known anything about them or any of their music. Next we have the Menendez Brothers. So I decided to add this because I feel like the Menendez Brothers, for some reason, every couple years they become a big social media and documentary talking point, particularly Monsters, the Lyle and Eric Menendez story from Ryan Murphy and Ian Brennan. And then following this, Netflix released a documentary film, The Menendez Brothers, that featured interviews with the brothers. So they were definitely in the popular zeitgeist a lot, with some people advocating for their release and other people feeling like they got what they deserve. It's definitely a popular enough topic that people were just talking about it on podcasts and stuff and just casually debating this horrific situation. It definitely reminds me of the other topic I talked about, Gypsy Rose, because people are just talking so casually about this like super crazy sensationalized true crime story. But it especially bothered me how many people were like making comments about it when they really knew nothing about the case and were just like saying random stuff. That's why I feel like the normalization of true crime is kind of icky, but I'm also like a true crime consumer, so I don't know, it's complex, but I would definitely put this under a lot, maybe too much. Next we have Moo Deng. Okay, this was one of the better trends of this year, where we saw the rise of the pygmy hippo in a Thailand zoo, Moo Deng. She was just born this summer and would quickly capture the hearts of so many people on TikTok, and people would make content about her and fan cams and loved the trainer videos. People would travel to see her. I thought this was mainly a nice and cute viral moment. I also loved seeing so many artists draw Moo Deng, but it was just a cute and fun viral moment celebrating like a odd animal probably most people haven't really heard of, and I feel like we forget how many animals are out there. And I think it's always important to share information about different animals, so people can learn about their wild counterpart. So I would definitely put Moo Deng under iconic, just because she was one of the best things about this year. Also, I loved how she influenced some other viral cute animal pictures like Pesto the penguin. I love him. Okay, next we have Nickacodo avocados, 2 steps ahead. So this very famous and well-known mukbanger who basically does these eating shows on YouTube where he has like extravagant amounts of foods on the screen, and then you basically eat them all over the course of like a story time or rambling or whatever. It's a kind of interesting form of content that's gotten a lot of criticism over the years because you're kind of like seeing people binge eat. It's very complex, but also at the same time I think mukbangs can be really fun and cute and they don't have to be a serious thing, so I feel like there's a middle ground somewhere. Strangely, after disappearing from the internet for a couple months, although he had been like releasing backlog content that he recorded before he went on this super drastic weight loss journey, and he came back in this odd video wearing a panda head and reciting a monologue and like tried to stir some drama that he was maybe lying and it was AI or something, even though it was pretty obvious from other people digging into what he's been posting that you could tell that the content he'd been posting more recently was actually like older other bonus footage and stuff that you could track back to different times from like the year before. But I've always felt like Nickacodo Avocado had weird vibes because he's just always so dramatic and really playing it up for the camera and just trying to be as extreme and sensational as possible to get as many views and clicks. Like he's very calculated, I believe. Well, obviously this transformation proves how calculated he is, that he planned all this out so he could have this big comeback moment, but he's never really seemed sincere to me. I definitely wasn't actually really surprised when I saw this because because he's always been very dramatic like this and loves big reveals and weird drama and all that. So I was like, this is so Nickacodo. He's definitely a lot, maybe too much, because we hear about him so much, and I know drama channels and stuff like to talk about him because they want to debate, like, is allowing this content on YouTube like irresponsible on YouTube's part, and discussions like that, which is also definitely an interesting discussion. So like you need to bring a spotlight to it if you want something to be done about it, kind of thing. It's just a very complex situation, so it's something I don't want to spend any more time thinking about. Next we have Andrew Garfield goes on chicken shop date. GQ writes, red carpets crackle whenever Andrew Garfield and Amelia Dimoldenberg run into each other. The pair is iconic. Insult strewn, is it real or flirtation led to Garfield finally appearing on Dimoldenberg's Chicken Shop Date YouTube show. Maybe it was an elaborate, chip-fueled performance art piece. Maybe it was the beginning of a real romance. It was cute and silly either way. I wonder if this was a bigger thing in the UK. I did hear about this, and I've heard a little bit about their flirtation on the red carpets and stuff, and how people think they would be perfect for each other. So maybe it's just kind of like one of those fun, like, flirty PR relationship. I'm gonna put this in We Love It. Next we have Melen Mirren is sad, Kurt Cobain never used GPS. Everyone can agree that Kurt Cobain was tragically taken before his time, but not everyone thinks, as Melen Mirren seemingly does, that one of the key parts of the tragedy is that Nirvana frontman will never be able to stare at Google Maps as he walks to an unfamiliar pub. It's so sad that Kurt Cobain died when he died because he never saw GPS, Mirren told The Standard in October. GPS is a wonderful thing. I mean, sure, but it's probably a second priority when considering the short life of a revolutionary musician. This is so random, but it's kind of funny. I wonder what inspired her to say that. I don't know if that's a connection I would make, but I think this is kind of funny, but not a moment. I don't know. Also, for the month of October, we have hyper-specific Halloween costumes. So this was a fun trend where people were just posting, like, on Twitter, I hate gay Halloween, ... basically, like, what do you mean you're this super niche topic? Like, this one says, I hate gay Halloween, what do you mean you're the tennis ball POV from Challengers? Oh, here's one like, I hate gay Halloween, what do you mean you're Chaperone in a passenger seat? I hate gay Halloween. What do you mean you're Sean and Camila going for a painfully slow stroll? Oh my gosh, there are just so many good ones in the tag. This has convinced me that maybe this is iconic. It's not just We Love It. Okay, next we have lookalike competitions. So this kind of started with the prominence of a Timothée Chalamet lookalike contest, where Timothée Chalamet would actually attend his own lookalike contest. Everyone was just, you know, joking about it, and the internet loved it. And it started a lot of other contests of different celebrities and public figures and politicians and stuff like that all over the country. It's funny because most of the time, if you look at like the prizes for the competitions, it'll be like $50 and like a soda or something really random. It's never like anything actually that good. The guy who made the Timothée Chalamet contest was actually a YouTuber, so it was a bit of a publicity stunt for his channel, and it really worked because, like, think about how many people are talking about lookalike contests now. I'm gonna put this in We Love It because it just seems cute and fun and silly and no downsides, hopefully, if everyone stays safe. Also in August, Molly May and Tommy Fury would break up. Molly May is a influencer I've heard the name of many times, but I don't know who she is, but I just know these are famous British influencers. I believe they met on Love Island or are related to it in some way, but they're a very beloved couple with our generation. Like Dazed jokes that they're our generation's Diana and Charles. I'm gonna put this in lukewarm. It happened because I don't know much about them, and it sounds like he's a cheater, and Molly May basically confirmed them and broke up with him when that became public. So if that's the case, I don't feel bad. Finally, we're at the end of the year in December, and one of the moments we have is the Wicked press tour. Dazed writes, there were many bizarre moments during the Wicked press tour, but the strangest moment of all had to be when the reporter mentioned to Ariana Grande and Cynthia Erivo that people were finding empowerment in the song Defying Gravity. I've seen this week people are talking about the lyrics of Defying Gravity and really holding space with that and feeling power in that. She said, Erivo appeared touched, claiming that was what she wanted. The reporter then claims that she has seen it happening because she works in queer media. I don't know how widespread it is, but I work in queer media. Everyone appeared confused as Grande held onto Erivo's finger for moral support. The two later laughed about the moment in Variety interview and admitted they had no idea what the reporter was talking about. This was one of my favorite moments of the year, but it could just be because Wicked is something that just happened recently and people are still talking about. I've always been a big Wicked fan. I mean, I've made lots of Wicked related videos by now, and I mean, I already did a deep dive into the Wicked lore, and I plan on doing another one about the Wicked movie. but there's so much to dive into with this press tour. I really love when press tours are all chaotic like this, because I feel like most of the time they're super boring and like it's just bland question and the actor seems super tired. Anything to spice it up and make it interesting, I feel like is good. And at first I felt like a lot of people were like, why are Ariana and Cynthia being so dramatic and stuff? But I feel like they're really just having a theater moment and they're like bonding over this amazing role that they had and a dream role for so many people. And Galinda and Elphaba, you know, are some of the most beloved characters, I feel like, in musical theater history. So I actually enjoyed seeing how seriously they all took the roles and how many like nuanced conversations they had about it. I mean, that's why I want to make a video about the press tour, so please subscribe if you'd want to see that. And you know, there's like a little bit of drama with, you know, Ariana and Ethan Slater and all that. That's why I thought it'd be fun to talk about, because it's like a little bit like silly drama. It's not so serious, but I thought the Holding Space interview was just really funny. Now we have the last pop culture moment of the year, Luigi Mangione. So Dazed writes, the internet went crazy after Luigi Mangione was identified as the suspected killer of the healthcare CEO, Brian Johnson, earlier this month. Many Americans, frustrated with insurance companies like United Healthcare profiting off of ordinary people's misery, don't have much sympathy for a slain CEO and began to hail Mangione as a great hero. It has also helped that Mangione is, to put it simply, hot. To this day, people on social media are publicly lusting over his photos and analyzing his social media accounts. This is a very fascinating and interesting story to me, so it's something I've definitely been keeping up with. I would say it's kind of here for the drama, even though maybe it's a little bit more serious than drama, but I mean, I'm not gonna say we love it, but that's crazy. I would never say that. But honestly, the memes about Luigi have been very, very funny. And it's so interesting to see so many people on the same page with this. Like I said, I feel like we just have an inherent like interest in crazy stories like this and like true crime and stuff. So, you know, and that's why I read his Goodreads. People uncovered that he had chronic back pain that was like basically unbearable. So I definitely feel like that's part of it. So that's every pop culture moment of the year reviewed and ranked. Let me know which ones were your favorite. How many did you not know? I believe there are 45, but I'm going to count again while editing. And are there any moments that I should have added to the list or that I am out of touch for not knowing about? Let me know. I want to thank you guys again for all the support on my channel. It's been really nice to see, and like I definitely have plans for 2025 if things keep going well, and I hope that they will. So thank you. Bye.